So we were talking for 30 minutes.
We're live.
I know we're live. I know. We're trying to make the live a little more casual.
We're live now. What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show. Here it is,
out.
Wednesday. It's the Start Build Grow Show.
Yeah,
we have episode 19 here. And once again, we're blessed to have another awesome guest that's going to provide a ton of amazing value for all the viewers out there. So while we're getting loaded, while we're getting everybody jumped on to say hi as usual, make sure to say hi. Let us know who you are, where you're from, what you're doing. Are you a roofing owner? Are you a future roofing owner? Are you a salesperson, a business owner? What is your role and or title or duties in the roofing industry? We want to hear from you. And again, questions, comments, those are always welcomed. And we definitely love our emojis with our resident millennial here. He loves his emojis. And we have another millennial who I don't know if she's in the emoji game or not. So say hi. And we don't do enough of this, but definitely check out our website. We are live. The Roofing Academy is actually live. We're still doing some beta testing, but we are actually live to jump on, to sign up, and to join our program. And we have a ton of amazing content, amazing programming. The whole point of the Roofing Academy is to give you everything you need from startup all the way to scalability within your roofing company. And we are well on our way to be able to deliver amazing results and a ton of great content. So I'll post the comment in the link, or I'll post the website in the link, or in the comments, website, comments, something. I'll do that here in a little bit. And then also check out the book. We don't push it enough, but you can go on Amazon. We'll also put that link in there for you. We wrote a book. It's the Start Build Grow book. Start it, build it, grow it. The Contractor's Guide to Success. So we definitely have some great materials that you can use in your day-to-day life and learn a lot about what we talk about on these sort of shows. So without further ado, let's get the show started. What's up, Nick? How are you, man?
Let's do it. I'm doing great. I'm pretty excited for this. This is episode 19 of the Start Build Grow Show. Right, where business and roofing meet. Pretty exciting, pretty exciting stuff. And we have a great guest. We have Brianna Reis with Elite Roofing today. Yeah, we're talking operations. We're talking production. Pretty stoked. Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a little prequel. Bree has been working with us. Is it 8
years?
8 years now. She came to us in little cat. I might as well just pull it out of the bag. This is my sister as well. So this is my sister. I've known her whole life. She's known me my whole life. But she came to us and wanting to learn about the business, and came in just kind of open-minded and wanted to just learn what she could. Started answering phones, started filing things, and next thing you know, she's pretty much running the company. So there's a really cool story behind the last 8 years of somebody that's come in and joined into the company and has totally just transformed herself as well as the company, and just been a huge value to not only our company but to the whole industry. So that's why we brought her on, because I think she can help you guys as well. Welcome to the show, Bree. What's up?
Thank you for having me, Rand.
So were you interested in roofing like from the beginning, or what was your thoughts when you were diving into the roofing industry?
That I needed a job. I think primarily was that I needed a job. I was like 6 months pregnant with Truly, and Randy was starting a company, and he called me and said, "How would you like to be the admin assistant?" And I said, "Don't hire me because I'm your sister. Hire me because you think I can do the job." And he said, "I am." I don't know if that's true or not, but he said, "I am." And so I started very, very part-time, and he's right, answering phones and admin assistant. But from the very, very beginning, I was very, very intrigued by the roofing. So even as an admin assistant, you don't need to know that much about roofing, but I just soaked it all in. I wanted to know how to measure a roof and what a vent was, and what, just everything that I could possibly learn about roofing. I just absorbed, and I'm good at self-teaching. So just having a desire to know more about what I'm in. And I think everybody in our family has this, but we just want to be the best at everything that we do. And if we're gonna step out and try it, we're gonna succeed at it, and we're gonna like conquer it. Like we want to.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to, I talk about this a lot, and we're writing the book too. It's about being a lifelong learner. It's not that I know everything about roofing. It's not that I'm a great business person or leader or entrepreneur or that she's the best admin or was the best leader, manager in the world. It's we have an insatiable desire to learn and grow and get better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you've got an email from me, I put it on my email, learn and grow every day. That's it. That's my expectation of myself. That's my expectation of everybody that we work with, is learn and grow every day. And she's just one of the exceptions that has taken that to heart. And she has just learned and learned and learned. And all of a sudden, she just grew up and blossomed. And we're like, holy crap, she's better than me. and then here we are. So, you know, I don't know what kind of dialogue we're going to go with, but there's definitely a lot of good stuff here.
So when you started as the admin assistant, right, I know your determination, how motivated you are and stuff like that. Did you kind of have like a higher goal of like, hey, this is what I want to accomplish or what? Because I've had multiple people tell me that you're kind of the glue that holds the company together.
Well, that's sweet. I think it's my brother, you know, so that was a big driver for me. Like, I wanted to get behind his dream. And I think that blossomed into a dream of my own. And I think that's really what, you know, has been able to push me and keep pushing me, because when things are hard at work, you know, it's easy to fall back on my why, which is to get behind my brother's dream and to be part of his success and his story. And
it's awesome. It's a family thing. And another reason why I thought it'd be an awesome idea to bring family on, because we have a lot of viewers. There is a lot of people in this industry that work with family. Mm-hmm. Hey, throw a comment in there. Do you have a family business? You work with your wife, you work with your sister, you work with your mom, your dad. You know, a lot of people in this industry work with family. Right. And I think there's definitely some stuff to be learned from that, because over the years, there's been times we've had up to 8 different family members working with the company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right now, we're I think 3. Mm-hmm. You know, and it just happens. Right. It's just one of those natural progressions where you have a company. It's a natural fit to at least try to see if, you know, your family's going to work out. And hey, you know what? They do a great job. But bigger picture stuff, sometimes we can try to put a family member into a position that family member isn't necessarily wired to do. Yeah. Right. So that's one of the lessons to learn is family can be very, very successful, but you've got to understand the human nature, like the actual person behind how I grew up, what we know about each other, and the animosities we may have had growing up, or you know, you picked on me, or blah blah blah. But understand the person on a professional level and figure out what their professional strengths are, and try to build positions to fit those family members into those positions, or build positions around the strengths of those family members. I think that's the key to working with family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could say that the way that we ended up in my career path in Elite has been so focused around that, because our mom was the administrator, the office manager, and we are like oil and water at times. And she fired me like 6 times that first year. And I was like, you can't fire me. And she's like, yes, I can. And I'm like, I'm calling Randy. And, you know, but because of that, you know, it pushed me into production. Let's let mom handle the office and let's see how Bree does in production, you know, and it created a line for us to both be able to manage and lead, you know, as strong women in our own ways and in our own departments. Yes, it goes along with the strengths thing. We figured out that, okay, we can't have them doing the same thing. Separate them and let them see what happens. Let's go there. First year in production. Yeah. First year in production, how'd that go? Give us that story. I've never even really asked. We've never even gone over this stuff. It's just kind of fun to reflect after 8 years. This is
Adrian says what's up too.
What's up,
guys? What's up, Adrian? Corey says what's up. Cool. Bernie. Adam, what's up, guys? Thanks for joining on. All right, but yeah, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, so what were you saying? First year in production, how was it? First year in production, so I thrive when I can create. So when I have the ability to build is when I'm doing, like, when I'm in my happy place. So I want to like look back and say like, oh, it was so hard, but it wasn't, because it was so enjoyable for me to be able to take something that just had a bunch of pieces and to put all those pieces together and to see an outcome and then see a wrong outcome and then shift that, right? And then get to do it again. So I think my first year of production, that's probably the year I really fell in love with roofing. Really?
That's cool.
That is pretty cool.
So the lesson there for all of you out there trying to figure out this production game is, don't look at it from an intimidating, like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. Look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Yeah. And if you're not wired to like a challenge, and for the owners out there, don't try to put someone in production that that kind of appreciates a challenge, that doesn't mind having to kind of figure some things out on their own. I think those are two big key characteristics for a production type person, because there's so much in production. There's so much that keeps coming at you, especially if you scale, especially if a roofing or if a storm hits. Everything you think you know about what you're doing goes out of the water, because now you have to try to 5x and 10x all of your production, all of the things you do. Yeah. So you kind of have to have that mentality to actually like challenges and like to be able to kind of be in charge of creating and changing processes along the way. Is that that's a fair assessment?
Absolutely. You want someone who's a strategic thinker and isn't afraid of change, because production is a constant movement. So if a human being likes things that are stable, that they can grasp onto, if that makes them feel comfortable, there probably should not be in production, like at all.
They could be in billing, right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's the same cycle every day. So
what's the biggest challenge for production, would you say?
I think the biggest challenge for production is probably one of the biggest challenges for human beings, period. And that is just proper time estimation, right?
Yeah. Time management.
I would say, I don't think that's necessarily for our company, but I think construction wise is like communication, I think is a really big challenge for production.
So if you can manage your time well and communicate well, those are going to help you.
So if you're looking for like someone who's running production for your company, you're looking for communication, right? Time management skills are probably the two biggest ones, would you say? Yeah.
And strategic thinker. I would throw into your interview, like what kind of games do you like to play?
Really?
And if the answer to that is I like strategy games, like that's your guy.
That's the person you're looking for.
Or down.
That's fire. Say that again. That is some fire that you only get in the Starbucks Girl Show. Like, here's the deal. When you're looking to hire a production manager or production assistant, production coordinator, what are you looking for?
Yep.
Fire that up again.
What kind of games do you like to play?
What kind of games do you like to play?
And if the answer is strategy games, you have someone that has a mindset to take a million different problems, right? Pitch, stories, amount of squares, how many layers off, bad access, and someone that can put all those pieces together to create a successful story. Right?
Yeah. And that story is your solution to the problem.
That story is your solution,
So we actually got a question from Corey that's talking about after storms. So what we're going to do is we're going to take his, and then we're going to go into production after storms as well too. So his question is, what's best after storms? Mailing flyers, cold calling, knocking. What's worked best for you guys? So I figured maybe you could take that one, Randy, then go into the production for the storms.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think regardless of what strategy you want to use, they all can be effective to a certain extent. Yeah. But the key is you got to plan that strategy ahead of time. And you got to be able to execute that strategy immediately when the storm happens. Yeah. So what happens, like when the last storm we got, we already had some advertisements and videos created and just sitting there waiting for the storm. And then the storm hits and we load those on social media. We opened up the budget for the AdWords. So we hit social media hard, we hit AdWords hard, we sent out an email to every single previous client of ours, plus every single agent or every single type of center of influence that we work with that sends us leads on a regular basis. We had it all teed up and ready to send immediately. We hit them up immediately and then went and knocked doors once those leads popped. We were on our way to knock doors, or our whole team was on their way to knock doors and getting leads on the way. Yeah. Right. So that's, in my mind, that's the idea. Is you got to be ready to go knock doors, but you want to have a secondary plan in place to do everything you can to try to stimulate a few leads or stimulate a couple people calling you, because it's a lot easier to go to a lead in the damaged area, deal with that person, and then knock doors and then expand from there than it is to drive around, figure out where to go, figure out what to do. And by the time you're all regrouping, we've already got a grasp. We already kind of know what's going on. Okay. I don't know. That would be one strategy I would think. Okay.
So for the sales, marketing, for the storm, boom. That's it. Make sure you plan beforehand, ready to go. As soon as that hits, you already got it. All planned.
Plan it out ahead of time and have a plan of execution. If you're a door knocking strategy, have canvassers ready, have people ready, be paying attention to the storms, get the apps that you need to get. I mean, you got interactive hail maps, storm swap. There's a lot of things you can do software-wise to be notified exactly when storms happen and as they happen. But the key is the faster you get there out into the field, the better.
Okay, so
that low-hanging fruit, I know we hate knocking doors, but that low-hanging fruit, if you can get into a neighborhood and get a few corner lots, get a cul-de-sac, get entries and exits out of neighborhoods, get some signs in there, that's going to generate more revenue for the whole storm. So there's a certain element where you just got to be ready to go like the second a storm is done.
Okay, got it. So when do you guys, we're out in Colorado, when are you guys kind of expecting storms? Like when is the first storm usually hitting it? Is it May?
May to September.
Okay, May, September. Okay, so when are you starting to plan on the production side for May?
I plan on the production side the day the storm hits.
The day the storm hits?
Yep.
Really?
Because from the day the storm hits, you have about 2 or 3 weeks before production feels that storm.
Okay. And then how can you kind of estimate, like how are you guys estimating how much production you guys are going to need, what the size of the storm, how are you guys going all about that? Because there's so many different variables, I feel like.
Well, the sales team in our company, at least, is really, really good at sales tracking. So we pretty much know how much they've signed, so we can anticipate how much is going to come.
Okay, got it.
Shameless plug, we have our sales tracker that we use as a company. You can download it on the Roofing Academy.
That's great.
Shameless plug,
that's great.
But tracking sales helps you project production.
And it is that is so important. All your departments should talk to each other. If your department heads don't talk to each other, you're in trouble. You're going to struggle.
Well, and a lot of people, the department might be two people. The entire company might be 2 people, and they still don't communicate very well.
Yeah,
and that's a challenge. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's very good advice.
Yeah. Those 2 people need to talk to each other. Production needs to talk to accounting. They need to talk to AP. They need to talk to AR. They need to talk to the sales team manager. Production needs to talk to everybody.
Yeah. So it's going back to communication, right? But so I think there's a lot of roofers that are watching this that they can't maximize the storms because they can't figure out how to have production to that level. Like, how do you even get there? You know what I mean? Because, we had one where it's we were talking if you guys wanted to, Randy's we could probably crank out 100 roofs a week if we needed to, right? And someone was just how the heck do you get to that? How the heck do you get to that, right? How do you do that? We purposely don't.
Right. No, we purposely wouldn't do that.
For strategic reasoning, but could we? Yeah. If we pushed it, we could. But that's not I wouldn't recommend that.
Right.
Until you're absolutely ready. Because there's only so much a team of production people can handle.
Yeah. Right.
The point is that if you can figure out how to stay organized with a little, you can figure out how to stay organized with a lot.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things we do for our company, which is also probably one of our project manager's biggest complaints, but I don't care, is job submissions. We are Nazis when it comes to job submissions.
Yeah.
We will reject a job for anything.
Really?
For anything. Yes. So it's about preparation. We need to know everything that could possibly go wrong before we start. Okay. So we're not getting held up by every single job on the back end. For example, our salesmen have to submit a picture of the attic or their job won't get roofed.
Really? So there's certain checklists that you guys have that's you have to have this, otherwise no go.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of cleaned up the process. So, okay, what about I think there's a lot of roofers out there, businesses out there that struggle with the whole organization thing. How do you kind of stay organized with this, and how do you kind of keep track of everything where it's this is going well, this is going well, this is not going well? How do you track that kind of stuff?
So obviously we have a really, really good CRM. I've constructed it myself. So as far as the systems that we built, we were able to build into our CRM. So tracking wise, we do really, really well with CRM. But we also use a magnet and a big metal magnet board.
Okay. And what does that look like?
Gosh, the magnet has all the job information that you could possibly need. Shingle color, pitch, stories, squares.
Yeah.
It's a complete snapshot of the entire job in this. I showed a lot of you guys our magnet board on look at my look at my story. I just threw it up there. Like we're prepping for scaling up, and we keep 3 weeks on this board, and we just move these magnets along the route. But we also do that digitally as well. So you can kind of have a visual way to track everything, but you can also make sure that it's all tracked correctly. For
you update both of those. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. We have to update both. But
cool. All right. Well, it looks like we got some more questions here. Do you guys prefer to sub work out or manage the battle of hiring and training? If you prefer subbing, what strategies do you have to maintain integrity, production quality, speed, and site environment? And then you put in parentheses swearing, smoking, music, cleanliness, friendliness to the neighbors. Thank you, Adam, for the question.
So as far as
great question, Adam. What's up? We need to connect. We're gonna get Adam on here too, man. Adam's got a lot. He does well with his Facebook ads, and my brother from Canada out there, man. Thanks for the comment, Adam.
Yeah. So as far as retention of our crews, we've done really, really well with that. And we treat our crews really, really well, and we always pay our crews. So that's a big one. So like for instance, going into this storm, we already had 8 crews that were sitting and waiting to work with us. But we keep, so every crew that calls throughout the year, we have a script for our admins, and they add them to a spreadsheet. So we have this running spreadsheet of every roofer that's ever contacted us for work, for one. So we keep all that centralized. So when it is time to look for a crew, we have our pick of whatever. And the questions are, do you have workman's comp? Do you have general liability? How many crews do you have? How many guys are in each crew? Is there an English speaking member of the crew? We'll send you a sub packet. The ones we get back go straight to the top of the list. We also, then we interview, which I don't know. I know desperation, season, the crews hold us, with a vice grip from time to time, but the purpose is that storm, right? So that's when this production team starts to think about what we need to do.
Right.
And that's the time that we're going to pull all the people that we've talked to, that we've liked, and called them, and then interview them, not just hire them.
Actually go through a process of interviewing, ask them certain things. We'll even check references. We'll have them provide photos of job sites. And then, I don't know if you want to talk more about it, but something that our current production manager, she actually doesn't run production anymore. She's moved on from that, but has built out a packet that we give to every crew, which is our standard procedures. It includes pictures of what we expect the job sites to look like. It includes a checklist of everything that needs to be done, including beauty course, kick out flashings, a lot of little nuances that crews forget. We have all that stuff in there on this checklist that they get with every job. So they have a certain expectation for every job. And then the key to all of this, guys, is you got to have some sort of quality control mechanism in place. So our service department, which is active all year long, a lot of times they become quality control supervisors or quality control for the subcontracted crews. So to answer your question, it's a combination of in-house crews that are in-house labor that works with us all the time, that knows the ins and outs, that are very professional and really good at doing roofs, repairing roofs, and inspecting roofs after the roof's been done. So they'll go out on a new crew. They'll go out the first day of the crew. We'll assign one of our technicians to go observe this crew during their first roof for however long it takes for them to give the thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yep.
The only way to really find out is to let a crew try.
Yeah.
But if you have a good vibe, they've done a really good job with the interview process, you send one of your experienced quality control supervisors out. Maybe you only have one. Maybe that person is you. That's a huge way to overcome issues with onboarding crews up front.
Yeah, definitely. So we do a build QC and then we do a post QC. Now, we don't have the staff to do a build QC for every QC, but anytime we have a new crew, we're going to build QC every single one of their jobs for probably the first 5.
Explain what the QC is.
It's a quality control. So because we're a digital company, we're pretty much paperless. All of our quality control techs have tablets. And so it's just a work order inside our CRM that asks a series of about 10 questions. Are they harnessed? Are they installing the ice and water right? Are they installing the drip edge right? Just so that nothing gets missed.
Did they protect the landscaping?
Did they
yes. Protect the garage, stuff like that.
And in that same sheet, they can take a picture and add it directly in as well. And so that's kind of the same thing on the post QC as well. So it's this little work order inside of our CRM that they fill out.
And I'll shameless plug Job Nimbus on that, guys. A lot of us have, a lot of that comes up. We've been working with Job Nimbus for a long time. We actually have them coming on board on the show here in a couple of weeks. And what we like about that platform is it's customizable. So because I feel that everybody is going to run their business a little bit different. Yeah. And the reason for that is they're going to have different people with different capacities. So every business model is a little bit different. So with a flexible CRM that you can customize and change as your company grows, as you add divisions, for us that was appealing. And she's taken her attitude of wanting to learn. She dove in and really learned how to manipulate and how to customize Job Nimbus. Yeah. And that alone was a game changer. To be able to build and customize your own CRM, that really opens up a lot of doors.
Is Job Nimbus good then, no matter what the size of the company? Then does it scale well with you? Would you say, or? I
would say yes, as long as you have. This is my tidbit on Job Nimbus is that you have someone build it that understands the heartbeat of your company.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're just having someone build it because you don't want to do it yourself or whatever the case may be, it's never going to be what you want it to be. Yeah. But because it is so customizable, it's amazing.
So to maximize potential, make sure that someone who is inside the company, knows the company, been there for a while, is the one that's...
the processes of the company. The process of the company in all the departments.
Yeah.
So
and that's hard to do. Yeah. A lot of times that's the owner who doesn't want to put the time and effort into, or doesn't have the time and effort to put in to learn the Job Nimbus. So there's a challenge there.
It sounds like a necessity though, but what you guys are saying.
Take small steps towards getting there. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
What do we got? I love this, guys. Lots of interaction. Once again, say hi. Where are you from? Throw us a couple of emojis. And we'll have some links and stuff we'll upload here a little bit later after I get off being live and I can get on my phone. And
cool. So we got back to Corey. So we have the biggest issue I have is keeping guys that seem to do good a month, maybe two. Then the typical excuses come along. Are there incentives you guys would recommend offering, or is there a process you would use to weed the not so good ones out?
And this is referring to, I guess we're going to assume this is still referring to roofing crews, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Well, the interview process, and I could get Randy a copy of that interview that we do. Yeah. Would weed out the bad ones.
Boom! There it is. Boom, we're going to throw it on the Roofing Academy platform. We'll get that templated for you. The interview process and the actual questions that we ask for roofing crews.
Cool. Yeah, and I mean, maybe I'm just a great judge of character, but I really feel like it's pretty easy to tell the shady roofing companies from the ones that are actually going to try hard for you. I think one of the benefits of having the quality control too is that they know that person's there, they know they're watching, and then like for us, it's really been a benefit to make sure that those quality control techs are bilingual, not only bilingual, but are Hispanic, because there's a layer of respect that naturally falls among the Hispanic community, Hispanic to Hispanic. So I think that's been a benefit, and then you can teach them. So maybe they're not great at this, but make sure your quality control tech is bold enough or has enough management skills to show authoritatively, the way that it needs to be. You don't need to give up on crews necessarily if there's some good qualities about them just because they're not doing this right or not doing this right, but work with them. And then there's some loyalty that comes from that because you're investing in them.
I think you build loyalty. I mean, and maybe this is simple and elementary, but having that check ready at a specific time every single week, or go on direct. Our crews get direct deposit. Like literally every Friday, boom, they wake up, their money's in their account. You do that, they love it, like game over, right? So pay them at a certain time every single week and don't even question, come an hour later, come Monday. You've got to make that a priority, and that sets like the precedent of how established and how much of a priority they are for your company. So pay on time every single week, and also have a bigger picture of knowing and reinstill with them that they're going to have work consistently. I think the first objective for any roofing company coming up, if you're really trying to you know, scale and grow, a lot of companies will have 2 or 3 crews they use from time to time, but they don't necessarily have somebody that they literally just keep busy all the time. Yeah. So if you can find that one crew that's really good, that's loyal, that you can keep busy year in and year out, through the winter, you know, even as much as you can through the winter, that helps, because then you just gradually have, like, where we have a whole spectrum of crews that are ready to come work. As soon as we call them, they know that, all right, we got a hailstorm, we know we're going to work for Elite Roofing. Yeah. It takes a while to do that, but the key is find 1 or 2, build that relationship, and do everything you can to try to integrate them to the culture and to the principles and values of your company. And if your crew can line up with that, they're going to be a lot more loyal, and they're going to stick with you. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had, I mean, one of our crews or 2 crews for 5 years, another crew for 3, another crew for 2 seasons. So like we were able to keep them on through the winter. And what I'll do is, if I can't fill up, especially with the winter where we didn't get a whole lot of snow, because that's in our favor, right?
Yeah, we got lucky.
It's snowing. We can't give you a roof this week, you know? Yeah. But like we would just throw him, you know, the 4th crew, we couldn't keep him busy the whole winter, you know, but we wanted him for the season coming. So we're like, okay, just give him 2 or 3 a month. Like do everything you can to just get him 2 or 3 a month, you know, so we can just keep that hook. I want to go back to the pay thing, because that is, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what speaks. Like that is the only thing that really matters to a crew, is that you're going to pay them, and you're going to pay them on time, and you're going to pay them well and fair, and you're not going to fight about it, and you're not going to argue all the time about how much you're going to pay them. It's not going to be this big back and forth. You're going to make sure you're up with industry standards, right? So that they're not coming to you like, everybody else is making $60 a square and you only pay me $55. Like make sure you're paying them $60 a square. What they do is hard work. They probably work harder than any other person in roofing. I mean, we strive mentally, but they break their backs physically. And anytime you're at a job site and you're watching them, like, look at it in that way. Like, look at how hard they're working. Like, they deserve every penny that we pay them. Probably even more, you know, but we have to make a profit.
Be careful. I'm sure a lot of guys are watching. They're going to come in tomorrow and be like, hey, I want more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Industry standard. I said industry standard.
We are the high end of industry standard.
We are the high end of industry standard. Yeah. And that is. And I think I'm going to drop a dime in the girl box really quick. And I think it's really benefited our company to have women production managers. There is just something about talking to Bree versus talking to John. When it comes to things that are difficult or challenging, men carry a certain level of respect for women that I've never, even in a man that's not a good man, like they don't call me as production manager for 5 years and scream and yell. You know, they tell me what's going on in a respectful manner, which makes me be able to deal with it in a calmer way. Women are super organized. Not all women, but we manage a lot very well. Mentally, we don't get overwhelmed as quickly.
Yeah, and I've alluded to this a few times.
How do I say that?
Well, there's also the female-male thing and the emotional decisions, because there's
flip-flops.
There's flip-flops of that. But it makes a lot of sense, because, you know, you're naturally, you know, most of us in roofing, a lot of us are hotheads. A lot of us get pissed off all the time. It's easy for us to just kind of fly off the handle and yell, and then look back and leave like, oh, damn it, why did I do that? What did I, you know, you're always like so remorseful after you react, and then you think about it later. But when there's that other element of just this natural ingrained respect, all right, I'm not going to just call and yell at Bree. Let me process this first and then call and yell at Bree. Yeah. And I think something, bit of advice for, I think, anyone out there, you're not going to be able to execute this right away, because it's all part of your growth strategy. You're not going to be able to have the funding to hire multiple people. But I think the best way, you know, maybe we'll put numbers on it, to get to that $3 to $5 million mark. I think the best way to do that is a 2-person production team. You got to have someone in the office all the time answering the calls, and everything being funneled through that one person who's highly organized, that knows what they're doing, And that one person needs to have someone out in the field to be their eyes and ears out in the field. And I think a lot of roofers make this mistake where they think that they need to hire a production manager that is the most experienced person in the room, right? Whoever's been on the roof the longest, they're automatically going to be the production manager. That does not mean that that's an organized person that is a good leader and a good communicator and can track things and update data and track things. That's a big mistake we make. And we get to this place where we just kind of spin our wheels because we don't have the right people in place. And unfortunately, they get to a point where they're paying too much for that one person because you think, okay, my production department needs to be one person. I'm going to pay them a ton of money and hope that they execute. And then they're only good at one part or the other, because the reality of it is very few people can handle both: the organization, the communication, and the execution. So I like to separate those things. I think that's something we've done early on, and it was a huge advantage for us. Now we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 people in our production department.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and we have a service department that I like. Randy's always described them as like the bridge between our other departments. So we have our commercial, we have our service, and then we have residential. And service always has to stay in the middle. It just bridges that gap. That is where our quality control has really, really been able to be successful, because we'll stop service. We'll no longer take service estimates during season, and then we're dispersing our service team to do quality control, warranty issues, failed inspections. We're not waiting on we give a crew 48 hours to fix a failed inspection, and if they don't fix it, we send one of our service team members, and then we charge back the crew for their time, which, you know, usually a failed inspection is not that big of a deal. They're going out there for 2 hours. We're charging back the crew $50. You know what I mean? It's not huge and it's not unfair, but it's productive.
It protects the company. Yeah. It protects the brand. Because that's, I think, maybe we can start wrapping here, but I think a big fear, and I used to have this as well, and still do to an extent, that a lot of roofers do is how do I protect my brand by scaling my company? Right? If I add more crews, and then some of the questions were the same along these lines, was how do I grow and protect my quality and protect my reputation? And it all comes down to that service department and being able to have, you know, a professional in-house contractor that can help bridge that gap. And that's really, I think, a huge,
the reliability and the security that comes in that is so helpful. You're like, I know it will get fixed.
Yeah, we gotta fix it yourself, whether the crew is messing up or not. So if you have an in-house person, you can really have a lot more control over that.
And then can I just touch really quick on what you said about having two?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's so crucial to have a production manager that is stationary. You know, you cannot have a production manager that also goes and gets permits and also checks job sites and also does this and also does that and also does this. They need to be this stationary communication hub for all the information that comes in to be dispersed to all the places it needs to go.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should probably start wrapping up here. We have a ton of questions, so Randy, you're gonna have to dive in.
All right, and you're gonna answer a couple more questions.
You want to answer some of them?
Let's answer a couple questions.
We had. Let's see here.
It's a good show. Thanks for the interaction, man.
Yeah.
Ton of comments. Hello, everyone. I can't really see you because his tiny little MacBook is too far away from me, and I'm blind. So
yeah, right.
I'm gonna let Nick read for me.
All right, so we got back to Adam here. So that's my struggle. I'm booked up the entire year. It's hard to sell roofs once you are booked 5 to 6 months out. I'm so scared to sub work out, but I could easily keep 5x the business going. Zero issues when internal hiring and training, but very tough to QC subs. But my business partner wants to scale operations to meet my marketing. What do you do if they do a bad job? If they do not meet the QC standards, it can be very challenging or impressive to go to a customer and say, actually, we are ripping off this side and redoing it because it wasn't up to our standard.
That's it. Do it
right. Yeah, do it right.
Yeah.
Do it right and let the crew go.
Yeah.
And so we hold. So when we release a crew, we hold a retainage. And that retainage we'll use to fix anything that they messed up.
But the key is don't, and I learned this early on when I was working for another company that just blew up and scaled overnight. They just hired any and every crew and just gave out all the work and told them to go roof them. 9 years happened. Like they were doing jobs with no ice and water. They didn't know the local codes. There was no quality control in place. So learning from that experience, that's what made us do the quality control stuff. So when we bring on a new crew, if they've never worked for us before, we're going to have one of our people sometimes all day long on that job site. We take that expense because I feel like it's going to protect you in the long run. Yeah. So I would rather invest 5 hours of someone's time at $30, $25 an hour to, you know, to ensure that that crew's either good or bad. That way you can get rid of them fast if you know that one roof, they didn't do a great job, or they had to be coached through the whole thing and they're not going to be a long-term fit. Great. What do I always say? Hire slow, fire fast. Yeah. You know, just they got to go grab another one. Yeah. So there may be a little bit of attrition here, but once you get that one solid crew, scaling just happens, man.
Yeah, and Adam, I would recommend that you hire one crew, give them 2 roofs, and then see where that goes. And then I think that, yeah, just hire one. Mm-hmm. Just hire one.
And it depends on the demographics too, mm-hmm. you know, where we don't, I mean, we're in one of the best markets in the country. Everybody wants to come work here. Everyone loves Colorado. So there's a lot of crews. Whereas you get up to Canada, you go up to northern, you know, some of the Michigan, out east, out west, where they don't necessarily have all these storms, or they may get a freak storm once every 3 or 4 years. It's a bigger challenge to find good quality crews. So, you know, I love the idea of having a training program as well, but I think the best way to do it is to do both. You know, is to have your in-house people that you know are executing, and if you want to scale to meet some demand, you know, outsource a little bit.
So then, Dustin Owens asked, "Do you require all your crews to have insurance?"
Yes, hands down. And not only do we require all our crews to have insurance, we call the insurance carrier to verify that insurance cert is real. So for all the roofers that are watching this, that are subcontractors that are out there with fake certificates, stop. All you're doing is messing up the industry. You're screwing things up for us as the roofers, and you're making it even worse on yourself. Here's a little game the crews like to play. They'll go get insurance from some other state, or they'll go get insurance from some really cheap insurance carrier, and it's not valid insurance, or it's not even covering minimums that you're supposed to cover, but you get this fancy piece of paper, you think that's okay, and you let them out on your job site. Next thing you know, you get audited or something happens, and then it falls right back on the contractor.
Yeah, and we have an extra layer. It's this form that we send to the agent. So the agent actually has to fill out this form and says, yes, they can do residential and commercial, because that's another little loophole, is that they'll give you a cert, but it really only covers commercial. They're not allowed to touch residential jobs, but they're not going to tell you that because they want the money, right? So that form's been really helpful. I can get that to you too if you want.
Sure.
Because if there's anything dishonest about that insurance, that agent is not going to sign it. You're not going to get it back. And if you don't get it back, you don't hire them.
Look at that. See, she's like, I told you, see, I hired her. She
brought the fire, man.
Better than me. Yeah. I'm just a talking head up here anymore.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, man.
I go to the office for longer than 2 hours. I go to the office for too long, she kicks me out.
Yeah.
Well, he's a visionary, so it comes too long and it gives me too much to do.
Touche.
Well, awesome, guys. I think that pretty much wraps up. We hit all the questions. There's a bunch of comments, so just the comments we'll get back to. We'll type some stuff out. But that was episode 19 of Start Build Grow Show. And Bree brought some great information. Now make sure you guys are taking this information and implementing it into their businesses, right?
Yeah, if you're still watching, there's a handful of people watching. Give us some claps for Bree. Yeah, she killed it. She did a great job. And you know, I think every entrepreneur, you know, underlying things, every entrepreneur has got to have a Bree or somebody that can be their other half, the yin to their yang. Because God knows I couldn't have done it without having her, as well as a whole staff. And my partner, you guys already met him a few weeks ago. Yeah. But the key is it's a group effort. It's a team effort. This isn't the Randy Brothers company. This is elite. We are a roofing company, and we all cherish and get behind that. And that's the culture that's been built. So focus on that culture. It's a team effort, and we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Yeah. Make sure to share this out, comment, and definitely check out the Roofing Academy. We are live. I'm excited to work with you. It includes personal coaching, personal calls, all those sort of things. So I'm excited to work with you and excited to help you grow. Maybe I'll even talk her into jumping on a call every once in a while too. So thank you.